Either side.
Yeah.
And you've seen, I mean, that's a minute, so. Especially one.
You're just the one talking.
Yeah, well.
Follow you, follow you.
We're, no, I went and signed up, me and Jenny are talking.
Yeah.
When we signed up, and then she got an email that said she was delinquent or something. I'm like, don't pay any attention to it. I'm good.
Hey, Gloria.
Yeah, that was forum.
Yeah.
Starting, they start making phone calls. Each person. Stop. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah.
When they find out.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got this document for you. Maybe solve your situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually, been in the van last night.
No, it's like a tweet.
It's back a big thumbs up. And we've got it's on TV, so we should be good to go. That's what Jesse. Hey, Robert. I don't know. Stop.
About 4 o'clock, all this meeting to order. You know, we do have one public comment. Mr. Dale Goder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Dale Goter. I live at 2625 West Cornelison and play golf in all the public courses. I got 3 things I want to address today, 3 separate items. I'll try to be really quick with it. The first one, as a lifetime journalist, most of my life, I was embarrassed to see the report that Cake News did on Channel 10 Sunday night about our public golf course. It was unfortunate. They found one guy to complain that the courses are in terrible shape. They drug out one cart that had a torn seat and said the carts are horrible and you're raising the fees. I found that highly offensive. I communicated that to the news director, and I commend Cake for being here to mend their ways and to get on board with what the truth is, that the courses are in much better shape than they have been. There's been a tremendous improvement at every facet of it. And there's a new fleet, as I understand, Mr. Kaufman, a new fleet of carts on board the next month, all of which went unnoticed in that story. So I hope they'll take away from this meeting that there's a different picture of public golf. And certainly you guys get a lot of credit for helping drive that right now. And I hope that they'll recognize your work in doing that. As further evidence of the change in culture, at the last meeting, I said I would start a petition drive on support of the request for capital improvement money to upgrade the irrigation systems at the 4 courses. So we undertook that along with some help from good friends. We have about 250 names, which I picked up in no time at all. We could easily get to 1,000 names. It's every golfer in the city understands the logic of the city council appropriating capital improvement money to improve our irrigation system, starting with Sim Park. I think Mr. Kaufman has a plan laid out in the CIP request. I'll be taking these signatures, and I hope we'll have a lot more by then, to the July 25th budget hearing, I believe. And I'm going to get up in support of public golf and of public golfers and give this as evidence for why they should invest in this. Included on the course of the signature here are 4 candidates for city council. Now think about that. You've got 4 candidates for city council. If they all get elected, you've got 4 votes and you're good to go. Now, I hope every candidate signs on that this is not a divisive issue, that every candidate understands this makes good sense. In making the argument to one of the candidates that said this is just a reflection of the policy of the city as reflected in their investment of $6 million in a pickleball court, which is fine with me, but you can't treat golf differently. So that's the point we're making. I hope this helps along the way. And this petition is made out urging the city council to approve the recommendation. I said Golf Leadership Board. I got the name wrong. It's the Golf Board of Governors. So it specifically supports your action last month that you took in making that recommendation. I would kind of hoped I would remembered last month that I think the park board should be brought into this circle as well. I'd recommend that your ex officio member isn't here today, but that the park board would be asked to endorse your request as well. They are still the umbrella organization over golf, although there's kind of a division now with the establishment of this board. But I think it's important for them, and the case could be made to them as well. If pickleball is a good idea, and it is, and investing in golf. The point I made to the one candidate, because he asked a lot of questions about why should we put this money in? And my point was, and I'm sure it's reflected in your arguments as well, that this is an investment. This just isn't a bailout. This is an investment enterprise that pays for itself, generates an operating profit. And so the money that's spent on upgrading the irrigation system not only will save water, it'll help the courses to be self-sustaining going forward. That's a proven record. And that's different from what they're looking at with these other enterprises. So that's that point. The last one point I want to bring up, over the course of the last few years and watching the golf budget and testifying before the park board and serving on the park board, I became aware of several items in the budget itself. And I want you to be aware of one in particular. That's the administration fee that's charged every year. Back when the courses maybe 4 years ago were making $5 million a year, the city would charge the golf fund $350,000 that was then distributed to the various agencies in the city. Arguably, it was to reimburse them for whatever they did to support the golf system. They do that because you're an enterprise fund like transit and the water utilities. So all of those get assessed an administration fee. I thought the golf one was exorbitant. Mark Manning, great fellow, he'd explained it to me. He says, this is all cutting, this is done with a method. There's a formula they use based on transaction, he says, that determines why that was $350,000. I did a little homework. I called Aurora, Colorado, which has 4 golf courses, the same size community as ours, MSA wise. They charge no administration fee. I called Lincoln, Nebraska, which has 4 courses, similar demographics to ours. They charge $100,000 a year. And there's a defense for charging something. If you're getting support from human resources, from finance, from law, whatever, there's some argument to be made that there's some money that might be transferred there, but it doesn't make any sense to be $350,000. I don't know what the number is in this proposed budget, but I hope you'll take a look at that one and just ask some questions. Is this really justifiable? Why would you be draining that kind of money out of the golf fund when it's a self-supporting enterprise? Out of that 350,000, 87,000 is designated to go to the city manager. The man makes $250,000 a year. So I don't know why he needed our $87,000 on top of that. But that finance and human resource took the biggest chunks out of that. And whether or not that's justifiable, I think an argument could be made that the city is going to support public golf, then that should just be absorbed into the budget. There's no need to come take that money out of the golf fund. But just want to put that on your radar as you go through your process of looking at the budget. I could never get the park board to ever talk about the budgets. I hope this is different. Hope you get involved in it. And Mr. Kaufman's probably got something to say about that later. That's what I've got to offer. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I appreciate what you folks do. And I appreciate Kate for showing up to get so maybe now you'll be on our side.
first, I appreciate you being here and helping with this initiative. I haven't seen the actual where someone can sign the petitions at SIM. Are they physically at the golf courses?
Well, we didn't want to impose on the courses. We want to do this ourselves. It's not up to the pros to do this. So I don't play at Sims as much. I play at Auburn a lot. We got a lot of names there. Went to McDonald, got a lot of women from Auburn, got a lot of women from Mac. I know your group is active at Sims. And that's a logistical part. We've got, I don't know what the impact is having 150 signatures or having 500 or 1,000. I'd like to have as many as possible. If you've got, I can arrange to have bring petitions by there. If you give me a schedule of when those people are most likely there, I'd be happy to do that. Well,
Today would have been a great day.
how about next Tuesday? Same thing next Tuesday?
Well, no, we would, but every other month meeting, and today was our,
Oh,
we don't have another.
well, I should note,
But I can take care of it on Tuesday.
okay, I should note that we also, in conjunction with this thought, add to the impact of that by encouraging all golfers to email. So we sent out an email, sent it to the Board of Governors and had him use Mr. Kaufman's address, because the guy has some way to route it to you. So I assume if he gets them, he'll route them to you and you can communicate that to the city council. So the combination of the petition and the emails will demonstrate the overwhelming support to get this part done. And when we get this done, I think I'm going to retire from taking any advice about this, because I think that's as good as we can do. So I appreciate that, and I'll work with you on that.
Email.
That's great. Thank you for paying attention to that.
Yeah, I appreciate all their efforts and input. He's been an advocate. Known him for a while. And he's always been pro and really tries to help. So, if we had any other questions? Okay, go on and we'll go to the continuation of our business. But anything you'd like to bring back up?
Well, I want to go back to the announcement section. I just wanted to let everyone know on this past Monday at Auburn Hill, we hosted the All Monday qualifier for the Corn Ferry event. And I want to commend Scott. It went great. And I definitely want to bring Brown Motor. He had the course in fantastic shape. I talked to some of the players when already out there, and they were all going on about good. The course was in great shape. So it's a big honor to host an event like that. So to be able to do that once again was great. We had 2 63s that got into the event, and then a playoff with 66s. So there's some very good golf. One of them. So. But yeah, I just want to bring that up. It's a great honor, and kudos to the staff, Scott, everything you did to get ready for that. All the staff there, fantastic job.
That comment, I did manage to get out and see Auburn over the weekend, and fairways appeared to be exceptional. We got a few little dinky places that we're going to take care of. The greens are putting as well as any place. Well, it was a little tough for old Mike, but that's okay. But I do again believe that Ron is very, very astute in what he does, and they just produce a great product. That's just viewpoint of myself. So I know that the pro shop runs these tournaments, and Scott, and they go off normally without a hitch. So, and that's always a real positive. Kudos to everybody on that. Okay, continuation of prior business. Anybody got something they'd like to bring up? The only thing I've got is we did speak to Marcy and Randy, and we are going to try to get some meetings with some current individuals that are on the council, and it's been suggested that maybe we might be able to get some of the potential candidates in for a meeting and have them meet with us here and express their opinions as to how they might address the golf here in the future. So, I think that would probably be a very good idea.
Yeah, I'm just curious, when the board makes a recommendation that they support and fund the irrigation needs, how does that actually get to the city council, or how are they actually notified that this request has been made? Anybody know?
Okay, so, and maybe you haven't like been in on some of these yet, but normally the department directors will meet with either city manager's office or city council. Kind of relay that information. You'll notice on some of the city council agendas too, and then I'll work with Jesse on this to make sure that this is kind of like proclaimed correctly or advised correctly or recommended. There'll be a spot on some of the agendas sometimes for recommendations from boards or something like that. So we'll just kind of need to make sure that it's connected. This was kind of our first time doing it, so I think maybe the right sending it to council piece, but it gets basically directed to council. We can maybe on kind of an agenda in a meeting, or we have various agenda workshops and meetings with council members in the city manager's office with department heads. So golf through kind of how that would happen if we do it that way. So I'll check on that actually. So my apologies for not kind of following.
In order to do that procedure, then hopefully, in only 1 year, it would, somebody may have request something that we'd like to see done. We would need to maybe go back to Mr. Houghton and proceed in that manner through Jesse.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's kind of, it was just our first one through this board. So we need to just make the connection to clerk's office. And yeah, that's something we can do right after this too. Yeah.
Basically, is this up to the city manager, or we can go through the council to actually do that too?
Well, it just depends what you all want to do. So when we're making recommendations, it might depend on which entity is making the decision. So if it's more of a manager's decision, maybe depending on what it is, maybe it's a smaller amount of money that doesn't have to go through council, whatever. Maybe we would direct it more to the manager, and then that would be more of a, we have these departmental head meetings where that kind of information is recommended from department directors. If we want to do it more to council, and I didn't think, I maybe didn't make this very clear kind of the way it filters, but if we want to do it to council, that's more of a thing that's told to them during a meeting sort of thing. And we connect with the clerk's office to make sure that it's on the agenda.
That you wouldn't go through a board workshop or something.
Correct, although they'll probably talk about it in some kind of agenda review beforehand. There's kind of a few processes with each with each meeting. They go through the agenda a couple different times, but yeah, so it makes it their way hopefully in a couple different places. But more importantly, for our purposes, I think publicly, if at all possible, during meetings. I'll work with Darius on that. And that was my apologies. I forgot to do that.
On that context, then should we then maybe actually go in front of the park board and make a recommendation to the boards that are inclusive on that, since Mr. Houghton is director of the park?
Well, and if you'd like to, for sure. And if we'd like to do something like make a presentation to the park board for almost a dual, not dueling, but kind of a dual recommendation from multiple boards, that's totally fine too. And I guess Eddie not here, but that's kind of the whole idea of having the overlap with a representative from the park board on the golf board of governors as well. So I think that's a great idea, but beyond my legal power, authority or anything, that's more of the policy determination for you all, how you would like to build up recommendations, work with other boards, things like that. But it's all stuff you can, especially recommending stuff, advising stuff. Yeah.
In terms of how we used to fund things, there's a long history of why things have changed a little bit. Maybe it'd be better to try to get that into the public eye versus what we're having to do now to overcome some of those things that have slipped up on due to some major decisions in the past. Anyway, we go from there.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just texted my council member and asked if she had seen that recommendation. She said no. When you were established, it was described this board would be a direct report to the council.
That is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
That is what I was talking about. So we will connect with council after this meeting. And we do, like, We need to connect with the clerk's office about different recommendations. That's the process I was talking about. That's direct reporting. We can directly report to council or make recommendations otherwise, but we will make sure that that recommendation was adequately and appropriately sent to the clerk's office, so it is before the council. And I think we just didn't set that up appropriately the last time, so my apologies for the first one and everything. But yeah, no, that's what I'm checking on literally after this meeting.
In the maiden voyage here, I think we're gonna have to maybe smooth out some.
Oh, and it's not even smoothing. It's Park Board does it all the time too. It's the same process. It's not a problem. It's just, yeah, I just need to kind of make regular checklist after the meeting. So, yeah. Thank you for your grace.
Not to skirt anybody, so we'd like.
Oh, of course, especially before the budget. Yeah, definitely.
So I'm trying to get an understanding. Are you saying that we as the Board of Governors need to meet in front of council members?
No. Just the things that you say. When you say like we recommend something to city council, we as staff need to do something to make sure that recommendation gets to city council, basically. So I will make sure that's done right after this meeting. And I did not do that after the last meeting, so my apologies on that. That's short story. Yes.
Comments from the board. Obviously, we will try to do better. All right.
No, my bad. Yeah, my apologies. You all doing great.
We're all just getting this boat trying to row. Okay, that's continuation of prior business. Continuation of new business.
Just getting it ready. Okay. For new business, I've made a quick slide just to help kind of demonstrate some of the things. So the first thing that I've got on here is a cart update. I don't have a slide for that because we just finished a meeting, kind of finalized some things. So we're at that. There was a couple of contract issues that we needed to work out. It sounds like we got those things worked out. That will go to council on July 11th for final approval. It would be July 4th, which the holiday kind of pushes us back a week. But once they do that, the cart should be a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks behind that starting delivery. So to that point, once council has made that final approval, I don't see any issues there. Then kind of make the announcement of who we're going with and be more specific with the things. But we are to the finish line, it sounds like. Literally the last step now is just waiting for that date to get in front of council, get their approval, and then we're good to go. So cart should be here. We're looking at 5 weeks from now. So we're almost there. First part of August, what we're looking. Maybe delivering gas carts as well as electric.
Yeah, so that changed today. It's a moving target. So the electric carts, they had carts available in May, but we were not to that point yet. So there's such a high demand. The electric carts went somewhere else. So now we're actually going to get gas carts first. So a fleet of gas carts will go to MAC first, which is not a bad thing because they're the ones that need carts the worst. So the gas carts will go there. Probably the next month we'll get another fleet at another course, and they'll just go until we get all 4. Definitely the goal is to have all new carts at all courses before the end of the year. And as we've talked about before, any course in the country right now, if you order a fleet of carts, it's very common to have to wait a year to 18 months before you get delivery. Things are just that far backed up, trying to get parts, the final parts they need before they can deliver the carts. They don't come in, they're back ordered and all that. So we're actually kind of to get the carts as quick as we are. I talked to course owners and operators all over the country that have been waiting over a year for a fleet of carts. So it is what it is, but they should be here again, first part of August. We should have carts starting to come in. So and with that, we are going to have 4 utility vehicles at no cost, and we will have a beverage cart, of course, 1 beverage cart at no cost as part of the contract. So very, very excited to finally get new carts on all the courses.
We will, once,
That's what we're recommending.
well, once council does that final vote, we can make that public. I just don't want to jump the gun and put that information out. But, yeah, once July comes, they have that vote, we'll make the announcements and we'll blast it so everybody can see that it's done and hopefully be very happy about it. So.
Before that as well, it will be, when the agenda is posted, that information will be available with city council.
And one other question in terms of those cards. I know that there's a multitude of utility vehicles sitting out around stops and what have you. Must be 9 or 10 of them sitting out. Auburn that apparently are not running or something. Are we gonna trade all those in or?
Are you talking about regular car, like regular car utility
These are utility vehicles. They use the thing.
with the beds on the back?
Yeah.
No, we are looking at trying to sell those through an auction that's separate than this deal. So, yeah.
Staff could look at that, put their heads together and see if they can rob Peter to pay Paul and those
I
things.
think that's been done so many times at this point on those cards that there's nothing left on most of them. So, yeah, we're looking at trying to put those in auction and get enough money out of those to put towards new equipment. But, yeah, there are carts out. The carts that are kind of in the graveyards at the regular golf carts, they are going to buy those back as part of the new lease. But the utility is a separate issue.
I don't know about the rest of the work, but I myself would like to see all those things gotten rid of.
I've talked to purchasing about that. They have kind of certain dates. They put things in auction and we're going to look at that for the next round of that.
Go to the general city auction.
It's either that or Purple Wave. I'm not 100% sure. So we will, I'll get that. I know I want to say it was in September, the next round. So I'll get the details before then. I was trying to get this cart deal first and then we'll tackle that next.
See if we can get something rolling. So we
Sure.
can lose those things
Okay.
out there. Looking like they,
We have, it's not just a utility vehicle. We have other equipment that's just,
yeah.
that needs, it's just scrap metal basically at this point. So we might as well get something for it.
Mike, all of us had a list of stuff to put on the wave auction. There was one in May, but the Public Works Department was not ready, so the city did not participate in that one. So it'll be in the fall. So yeah, we've all got stuff already listed in to be included.
I know this probably got a new business. I don't know if you want to get into something. You mentioned the other day about equipment coming off lease in Wichita.
Yeah, that's coming up. I'm getting there.
Jesse, is it a 1-for-1 replacement of the carts or is there a decrease in the number of carts that go?
Each course will have a full fleet. It'll be an increase. Auburn, I think, stays the same, but we'll have all working carts where they have a couple that are broken down, and then the other courses will have a slight increase. Everyone will be at 70 to 72 carts. So we'll have full fleets. And then we are keeping a few of our best carts that we have now just for events and different things. But we need to say we have a big tournament and they need a few extra carts. We'll have as kind of carts that we can move around as needed. So. Okay, next thing up, renovation update. First thing, the work at Texan Solver has started. You can see here they're working on these are the beams outside the window. There was an end cap, a metal end cap put on the end of the beams, which obviously would hold water and start rotting out this wood. So they're cutting those beams back to see how far the rotted wood goes. We're really trying to get ahead of this before it's a big problem. But that the renovations at Tex are going to include the outside of the building, paint, several different things on the outside, a little bit of new flooring inside, and add the simulator room. That's going to be done. All of the work should be completed somewhere between 60 and 90 days, and they started last week. So.
We have one simulator or several.
So once they get the room built, I'm going to have someone come in that's what they do and recommend if we have room for two. I think we do. It's going to be tight, but I want someone that deals with that to come in and look at it.
and know for sure, because it's very specific on your dimensions. So,
Would the potential cost to use that equipment be determined after you find the price out or where we at?
I mean, I'll do a big market kind of research and figure out what is common around this area. There are a lot of different places, not so much in Wichita, but no, in Topeka and Kansas City, there are a lot of places that have these. So we'll do a lot of research to figure out kind of what the price should be on that. I can tell you if it was rented out, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I figured it out. If it was rented out twice a day for one hour at a time, so 2 hours a day, at $35, which is cheap, on the lower end of simulator cost, it would pay for the build for that room and the simulator in about 4 months. So, and then after that, it's pure profit at that point. And I think we can rent that thing out all day, every day. So, anything that's a revenue generator, I'm in favor of. So this, I don't see anything but good coming out of this.
Clubhouse right now is a way to access that.
Yeah, we all the plans are done. We had an architect draw up all that. So it's going to be, the women's locker room is the back area of the women's locker room. There's lockers back there that's not used. Steve said no one goes back there. So we're going to move one set of lockers into the women's restroom area, put a wall, and there'll be a door they're going to put a door through the pro shop, across from where the counter is. That'll go directly back there.
That is included on the price of it.
It is. It is. The only thing not included is the actual simulator itself, and I've crossed out 30 of those so far. They're not too bad. So, yep. We wanted to use the very back room. There's a ton of area back there, but there's no access back there. We were going to put a hallway, but the furnace is directly where the hallway should be, so we can't do that. The only way to get back there is to walk directly, literally into the rest and through the rest. So we were going to try this first, and if it really takes off, we'll look at trying to figure out something for that back room. Okay, next up, the renovations for McDonald Golf Course came back about 80,000, between 60 and 80,000 over budget. Once, Kevin and I back in probably September, October, we started getting quotes for flooring, for ceiling and paint and everything. And we went to an architect, and the whole thing just kind of kept growing and growing, and a little bit more really than what we originally had wanted to do. So now what we're looking at is probably backing out of this. We're going to do, Kevin and I are oversee the flooring to get done, just like we did at Sim. The flooring will get done, the paint will get done, the ceiling, possibly new doors if it falls under the price threshold. We'll take care of all of that ourselves, and then we will rebid the bathrooms. That's a bigger project than I know how to oversee, because that's going to be a complete rework of all the bathrooms. So we would bid that back out along with windows at that point, because I know they're going to be more than the threshold without having to do a bid. So I think with that, we're going to be able to save a lot of money, just like we did at Sim. That bid, the architect came back that was going to cost $121,000. We did it for about $30,000 by doing it ourselves. So I'm going to apply the same technique to Mac, do everything we can do, feel confident about, and then we'll rebid what's left, which will be the major parts of it. And I think that'll come in well under budget, actually. So we're going to start that right away, start getting bids in next week, and try to start at the ceiling and work our way down over the next month or so.
So encumbered number for that was about 900,000.
It was 800,000, and actually it came out to 788,000.
788,000. So we've already completed. Well, I say, yeah, we completed Sim. Obviously, there's still work to do there.
Everything's paid for. We're waiting on one small piece of counter that should be in this week, and then we're going to finish that ourselves. So
based on the, we got to figure that on 3 courses. What's the total there? What we have left to maybe what we can do for McDonald.
Right. What Tex was 266,000. Sim, and then with the counters, 40. So we have about, I think it was 500 and right at 500,000 at Mac. And that's what we had left for Mac, and this came in well above that.
Okay.
So I think if we break this down, do as much as we can in-house ourselves by just doing the work, and then we can just we can put the rest out for bid and save a lot of money, because we're paying general contractor fees on flooring, on everything else. And it adds up, and those are fees that we can save by taking care of it ourselves.
The electrical work at Max still in the plan?
What's that?
The electrical work?
Yes. Yep. Any other questions on the renovation before we move forward? All right, I sent you guys out, I don't know if it was, I can't keep up yesterday, today, the business plan. Basically what I've put together there, just kind of an overview of the golf division, what's included, how it operates. What I really need for you, I mean, I want you guys to look over that obviously and give me any feedback or changes you want to see made, but the other part that we need to add are the more specific plans that we have, kind of a 5-year plan, equipment purchase that we're looking to do, projects. And kind of a layout of what we want to accomplish over the next 5 years. Did not include those specific things without your input. So I'm hoping that we can maybe form subcommittee. We need some way to workshop and spend more than just the 2 hours a month for any, and Mike, I'll let you kind of take the lead as a chair on this, on maybe forming some type of subcommittees to work through these issues and get that plan together. So. Did anyone not receive that document? Everyone got it? Okay.
Well, maybe next time too, it really will just be, just to help, it'll just be kind of a vote on how, if you want to set up a subcommittee on anything, the board just needs to kind of vote on it with folks that want to participate. It won't be real like authority, except for bringing recommendations then for the full board to consider.
So you'd have to have less than a quorum and
Yeah, that would be the idea. Yeah, if we could do that, we could try to structure it if there's a ton of interest to try to avoid that. But I love that instinct. That's what we're trying to avoid. Reconstituting the board accidentally.
Just out of curiosity, when you're talking about forming a subcommittee, how much time are you thinking, or?
I mean, again, I would assume that the chair would kind of help determine that. I can kind of lay a base out where instead of starting from scratch, you're taking what I'm looking at, we're picking it for what you guys want, to speed that process up. I've got that already.
If I might offer one idea too, and I'm not sure how many subcommittees you're thinking, but some different approaches are, we could try to do something like have a meeting the 2 weeks after, kind of right in between if we want to do subcommittee. One option too that library does is they have all of their subcommittees meet for say an hour before the main meeting and then kind of report back to the full golf board. So it tries to keep all the time and energy sort of concentrated. So there's a few different approaches we could try to take depending on how many we'd like to make, what time commitments are available, things like that.
say, I think 3 would be, if we could decide on the board ourselves. Set that, but you're gonna need to have yesterday plus the pros and the superintendents. You gotta get input from people who have to do the work.
Sure.
And see what gets prioritized and what's feasible. I mean, you also have to work within the monetary scope of what we can do and what we can't. And we sit down and say, if we might want to do is, it has to be paid for. Based on the fee structure that we're currently operating on, we would have to assume that we would operate at that number until such time as we change the fee schedule. Anyway, yeah, it would need to be, and it's, I assume in order to set that, you'd have to have, you're saying a 5-year plan, which again, it's a revolving thing each year. So, yeah, I mean, it's.
And the time frame you're looking to do this, do you have to have your 5-year plan ready by a specific?
I'm giving a report to council on July 14th, which is before our next meeting. So I know that's quick, but I would like to have some details on what the plans are by then, obviously. And this board is very important in making those decisions. So I would love to have that input. And instead of just doing it myself, I would love to have some input from this board. So if we could set something up prior to that meeting where I can get that included into that report, that'd be fantastic.
And I would assume that we would need to have motion by the board or somebody selected at the meetings to start initiating those meetings. We have some volunteers.
Well, it kind of sounds like different things. There's sort of a special meeting option versus committee. And sorry to speak.
I was gonna say that sounds like a special meeting.
Yeah, different kind of option. We could just do a special meeting maybe before then. People could also send you input. As long as you don't email the full board, you can send your input directly to Jesse after maybe he sends an email as well.
Full board meeting to do that.
No, as long as you individually do it. When we start replying all, that's when it starts becoming like a meeting on the email chain. So as long as you send back your input, and it can be public, we can talk about it at the next meeting, all that sort of stuff, but it's more, we don't trigger it as a meeting where theoretically we could take action on the email chain.
Just having 3 individuals.
Yeah, but if you just reply to Jesse
And-
instead of replying all, then we can send our emails just directly to him with the strategic plan, with your input, stuff like that. That might be the easiest with our time frame. Potentially.
And if we did, like Evan was saying, if we did an actual special meeting, everyone would be involved, but that would be one item on that agenda.
Yeah, exactly. We could do it similarly like we did with our other special meeting if we go that route as well. Yep.
Still think you need to have your committee work on that prior to that, because the full meeting
Mhm.
didn't get much advance because there wouldn't be much of a plan.
Well, I'll let you put that together if you don't mind.
I'd be happy to be part of it. I mean, that's, I don't know, Jesse, can you get Jesse up to see if he's available? Interested in that?
Jesse Ramos, would you be interested?
I'm here. I just was on mute trying to talk. Whatever we need to do, I'll do whatever we need to do to help.
Any other individuals on the board?
Available to help.
Happy to.
Let me know.
I think the special meeting would be the best, the most beneficial for
And
Jesse.
then we just bring some information back to the board and make recommendations. You're gonna list all these projects and you're gonna have your choice. What you consider to be the most pressing thing.
I have your suggestion of special meeting with the full board. Yeah.
But you said you're presenting July 14th.
Mhm. So again, the two options would be the subcommittee with 3 people or a special meeting with all the board. Or both. basically.
Can't have both, get the 3 people together and do some work and then have a special meeting, bringing information to the full board. Would that work? That not be?
Well, yeah, that would be totally fine. So side of the structure would be first, maybe you folks have time for special meeting before our next meeting. And then if we want to set up, multiple committee things, that's totally fine too. The committee part's a bit more informal because we're just trying to keep it less than a full board. Communications. Yeah. But I think the full special meeting does make some sense too, to try to everybody talk it out. And
I agree.
oh, yeah. So then it's kind of up to you all to, who can meet before the special meeting to basically do committee work. More or less. Yeah.
In order to come up with different projects that are recommended by staff, and then you get a special board's gonna have to, meeting would have to prioritize that and the finality of stuff.
Yeah. It's just if we have time for everybody to meet, kind of report like that, I think before the special meeting, maybe. Before
Before the third Tuesday of July.
That's gonna put us to 20th-ish again. Yeah.
So it's past your date for your other presentation.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
At 11.
How soon could you have the information ready for the group to look at?
Basically have it. I just need to clean it up, but I could have it tomorrow. I've got a huge list of stuff.
Would you be able to get the other staff members in
Better that way.
to the spot,
Be
discuss all that?
around 10 to
I can get some. It's gonna be, we're so busy right now, it's hard to get all staff off the course, as far as the managers and the supers, but I could get some.
Be presenting a final 5-year plan on the 14th.
We're giving an update, and I would like to include that. I think it would go a long way if I could have that included in that update.
All plans are subject to change.
Sure.
I mean, that's it. Basically, it's all flexible.
I think just kind of having a priority list on what are the main things, and obviously things are gonna pop up that will have emergency repairs, things, but we have to have that list.
I haven't had a chance to see this, so did you actually do any prioritizing, or is that still up in here?
No, that's the part I want your input to add, yeah.
Wasn't anything in reference to this here?
Yeah, no, that's, again, that's just kind of an overview of the golf division, how it works, what, all that. But then as far as the plan, that's where I would like to get the input from you guys.
So they had to do it.
we were all talking about having everybody involved with the special meeting, right?
That'll be the special meeting. This is just to prioritize it or help.
The committee could meet starting now, and then the special meeting could maybe be on July 11th.
Enough time for you. If that's just
Yeah.
finalize.
I mean, I look at stuff every day. I could start right now.
No, I was just saying before.
Oh, yeah, before, yeah,
From the 11th to the 14th, does that provide you sufficient time?
Yeah.
Can't really go the week before that because it's 4th of July.
right. And it doesn't have to be on a day at all. It could be any day.
Vacation from the 7th.
I mean, what if we did like the end of this month even?
Yeah, there's not much of it left. but-
Yeah.
Just generally recommending folks, again, you can send individual sort of thoughts and analysis to Jesse. Just try to avoid sending it to the full board, regardless of how we said all this sort of stuff.
What's the 11th? What day is that?
11th is
Tuesday also.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, and our normal meeting would have been the 18th.
And it still would be even with you.
Well, could we make a motion that we just adapt that to make the regular meeting on the 11th?
Yes. We can do that too. But it just depends, like, do we want the rest of our regular business to be a part of that? Or kick all of the regular business to the next August meeting, so we create a little bit of a complication there.
Preferably, I would focus an entire meeting on this. I think this is probably the most important we can do right now, so we can focus on this, and then I can give you updates about rounds of golf next month.
You said we're not married to Tuesdays, so if one more day would help you, we could certainly try Monday, the 10th. And then if we give you information on Monday, the 10th, can you be prepared by the 14th?
That would help, because I have to submit everything prior. So yeah, that would help.
We're going to do Monday, the 10th? Special meeting?
Yeah, but we'll just figure out a placement. That's totally fine. It may not be in this room because that's exactly. But we'll find space. We have another conference room. Yeah, exactly. So that's just the conflict issue.
Well,
But that's not like a reason to not.
we've
have-
talked about going to the courses. Another thing I wanted to bring up today. So could we
But
possibly,
even it's like if you want to focus versus kind of move
but I mean, if we,
at the core.
at Auburn with the conference,
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it can be at different locations. The bylaws are set up. We have our regular meetings here at this time,
Okay.
but you can change it.
the 10th at 4 p.m., 4 p.m. at Auburn Hills, is that okay? Everything, I guess I better check. Oh, okay. Okay.
Location to be determined.
Haven't you got a wedding going on that week?
Would say,
No weddings or things going on that day?
no.
Right on Monday.
Kevin does with that.
Busy times, busy times.
We have a motion to have a special meeting at Auburn on the 10th of July at 4 o'clock.
So moved.
In favor?
Kevin second. Second. Were you the second? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool, yeah.
I assume Jesse went for that or heard it.
I'm looking at my schedule. I might be out of state on business, but let me see what I can do and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible.
Okay.
Teams in Auburn.
If you need to join Teams, if that works better, we can do that at all as well.
Okay, yeah, let me see if I can push something back. I'm not sure if I was flying out on Tuesday or if I was flying out on Monday, so, but I'll check that.
So if we're having a special meeting on the 10th, then is there going to be a subcommittee to look things over prior to that, or that just the day we're going to do?
Subcommittee. Robert.
No, not me. I'm, like I say, I have a big work project, second,
Okay.
7th, I'm out.
Jesse had said he was part of it. I'll make sure you know.
I also suggest too, this sort of thing can be coordinated a little bit separately.
We can amongst ourselves.
Yeah, exactly, because it's not about action that's on an agenda yet. You're just trying to set up a committee to basically recommend to yourselves sort of what to do. So that's kind of, yeah.
I will get myself and a couple others and we will get together with some guys. How's that?
And I will,
Working busy.
Hey, but that's subcommittee world.
work on getting staff as much as I can, the pros there to answer questions, but as well. Okay, so is that, we voted, we're done, good, okay. All right, so Mike, you mentioned the equipment. This is equipment that at Flint Hills, they lease their equipment in a 4-year lease. They have to the end of this lease. They're switching companies, which is irrelevant. The equipment that they currently have, Ron and I went last week and kind of took an inventory because Toro will take this equipment back and they will sell it as is. Or they can send it off, get it refurbished and then sell it. This happened before. We got some equipment this way and they potentially have some very good deals on equipment that we need. So this is kind of a list of what they have. Basically, the top two are a lighter weight and then a heavier duty utility vehicle, kind of like the one you see in the picture. A couple, 3 fairway mowers, some real mowers, some rough mowers, whatever. So, and talking to staff, looks like the utility, especially the heavier utility vehicles, are going to be probably the thing we have the most demand for. I'm bringing this up just because once they take this in, it's going to have to be a quick turnaround. They're going to sell this stuff like that. We've already been in contact, so we know they're going to notify us, but we're not going to be able to take 2 months and wait for the next board meeting to vote on it. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. This comes off lease in August. So at the next meeting, hopefully I can kind of give you an update. But I wanted to kind of put this on your radar. There's an opportunity potentially, and it may not be. They may come back and give us the prices and it doesn't make sense, but I'll be kind of giving you an update, I guess, now on the 10th. But again, just wanted to put this on your radar because it potentially could be a great opportunity to get some stuff that we need desperately.
Do you have the price list from those?
Not yet. That's what I'm waiting on.
What about the life expectancy? How many hours do you expect to get out of those? What is that, 679? Is that halfway through its life?
I can tell you the
Yeah.
vehicles that we currently have double or triple what these numbers are. Yeah, our hours are back to 0 because we've went through the whole dial on most of our equipment, but no, it's fairly light use. They have enough of each item that they don't use it as much. You know, they have 3 instead of 1 doing the entire course. They have multiple units going out. So it's fairly lower hours. Ron could definitely speak more than this than I can, but we've
It's
been
like
looking,
new to us.
yeah, it'll be the newest thing.
It's broken in then, right?
Yeah. We went out and looked at it. It all looks great. It's at Flint Hills. They obviously take care of their stuff. And it was brand new. They got it. So, again, once hopefully I can get some idea on the pricing before that next meeting, then we can really see if it makes sense to us. But just wanted to, I don't want to miss this opportunity if it is something that makes sense for us.
Question, it would not be unusual if you went out to one of our courses or somebody that was needing equipment to see one of those 5110s with 3,000 to 4,000 hours. Basically, they've been run to the ground. It's like taking your car, running at full speed for 3,000 hours. That's where it comes from. T-collars, it's not unusual. They roll their greens mowers down to 10, and collar mowers, it's not unusual to see 3,500 hours on one of them.
What was my greens mower for the last 4 years is a 3150Q that we bought off lease. Flint Hills turned in their stuff 4 years ago. Now that's our collar mower. We did purchase a new greens mower this year, so that mower's our collar mower. Yeah, I mean, for instance, I have a 5610 fairway mower that is similar to that model. That's got 2,700 hours on it now, and which is not high, but you got to be thinking about the next one. So.
Problem is that those mowers, the hydraulics start going out, and when the hydraulics start, the mowers get it for the scrapping.
Is there a chance these will come up before our August 10th meeting?
No, it'll be August.
August 6th is the official date of it. But once PTP puts out the price list, this stuff will be gone in
Well, that's what I was
a
wondering.
day or two. We would have to make commitments that day.
If it were to happen on August 10th, I mean, can we do an email vote or something?
Wait, do you expect that price list to go out well ahead of August 6th?
I talked to Derek last week and he was hoping to have the price list by middle of June, which we're June 20th now. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's, by the end of this month, and they'll just email out the price list to golf courses in 5 states. So
Is it like a bidding or how do we get?
they'll send the price out, and he's already aware that we're interested in quite a bit of stuff. I mean, Jesse's told me the number he thinks he has to work with, so just have to see what the
Question,
pricing is.
what kind of money do we have available in the funds?
We have, right now, our slush fund before, this is at the end of May and it's went up a lot since. It's like we'll see it and it's 1.25 million, something like that. The money is there. This board, I was trying to work through this today and make sure I was correct, and it sounds like it did. This board has the authority to make that call without having, if I try to counsel and get a budget adjustment, we're looking at weeks and that stuff is gone. So I'm trying to figure out how can we do this without missing out on equipment. So maybe right now, Ron, what do you, for MDX, what would be the price that you think is a good deal for that many hours?
Just compared to the ones we bought, I'm guessing they're gonna want 5,000 of those.
And
We bought some 4 years ago. They had a few more hours than that. They were $2,000, but the used equipment market right now is.
What's a new one cost?
I'm not sure had a new HDX on order for quite a while, and it's like at about 27,000. So
That 4,500s they got up there. What
Mhm.
tier are those?
these are probably the new ones. Yeah,
We got all the EPA stuff on.
yeah, I would assume because these are 4 years old. So
Those 4,500s that are up there, those things run $60,000 to $80,000.
oh yeah.
How many pieces of equipment are you planning on buying? I see the quantities there.
This is what they have available. I mean, the price is going to dictate. I mean, if, like you said, used equipment is crazy right now, so it may come back like a used car where it's almost the same price as a new one, but it all just depends. I mean,
The prices were right You buy all those?
Oh, not all. No.
You couldn't.
No, no, we're looking at, again, the HDX, MDX. Depending on price, a few of those, I know the 150 Sim ordered one greens mower, not two, so, potential for that one. I don't think there's a need for fairway. Ooh, oh, okay,
Depending on the price.
but yeah, oh, yeah, you're sitting here.
That 4,500 is big, big, all the hills with all the knobs and the humps they got out there. Those are, that's that floating head, isn't it?
Right, it's got, yeah, that's the larger, the 4,500 is the larger with all the small floating heads, and the 3,500 is just the triplex. And
I looked at those, and if I'm thinking right, my kind of guess that I come up with would be maybe 35,000. Does that sound about right?
I was, for the 4,500,
Yeah,
I would say that would be a good estimate.
so that's a bigger unit, but again, there's 70,000 otherwise, so. It's just hard to do without knowing the price. I mean, I have no clue what to tell you.
If they get it priced, maybe we can discuss that at the 10th meeting.
Gonna need to be quick about it. If so, Nate, in this situation, this is kind of weird. I know we can't really.
Well, and just to back up real quick, the way we have it set up right now, maybe we want to do it otherwise, is that we currently have the July 10th special meeting. And also, we don't have to do a regular meeting, but I think we still have that placeholder, at least on the calendar for July 18th. I think if we're doing a special meeting, we should stick to strategic business plan unless this fits within it. If we want to make decisions before, we can either try to set up another special meeting to do that. I think with the regular meeting on July 18th, we could then instead set up motions with price lists that are like, we, the golf board, authorize or recommend this kind of package, or up to this amount, or up to this quantity of purchases. So we can kind of structure it more as an up to, depending on how the pricing works out that we feel comfortable with different packages, and try to set it up that way. So do our best to predict and give as much authority within the things you feel comfortable.
Because like Ron said, what happens if they send it out on the 30th?
I think if we start running into not having a pricing list by July 18th, then we can maybe make a decision about having to add more time, basically. But if we get it this month, then it doesn't seem like it would be the issue.
Say hypothetically, it comes out tomorrow. We're gonna need to jump. I mean, if.
Oh, it's not the bidding, it's not the price. We need to submit our invoice August 6th.
No,
We have to do it immediately. When
other, I
price
mean, they're gonna send that list out to multiple courses, these other courses. Or private courses that can just say, I'll take it. And I don't want to lose good equipment to that just because we're have a process.
I mean, so a situation we could call and make a commitment, say, yes, we want to buy this, and someone's gonna say, okay. And he understands dealing with municipalities, and if in 2 or 3 weeks later, oh, well, sorry, it wasn't approved. They understand that.
We need new equipment. Yes. And the only thing that the price is gonna do is just tell us how much of it we can buy. If we say how much limit is, and it's up to you guys to know the business and the equipment, buy what we can.
I mean, the only other thing would be if the prices just aren't what they should be, you know.
Right, I mean.
We would know that's too much, they use pieces.
Right.
So.
Doesn't make sense to overpay, just
Exactly.
because it's there available. Even though equipment availability is really tough right now. So.
You were saying the unencumbered money right now is at 1.25, something in that ballpark. So if,
More.
Could we say like 750,000?
How about maybe we back up a little bit to us, maybe thinking of this sort of a different way. It's not also like you don't need golf board approval technically to buy equipment, right? So theoretically, this would be in general more of like a recommendation trying to give guidance to Jesse anyway. And I think we can do that basically as you suggest, since it's not a binding cap limit anyway. It's kind of what we think and suggest, and Jesse does that and then we grill him next time if he comes back with a bad friend. No. Or it's like we provide our advice and guidance. It doesn't have to be a really strict thing. So I think that gives you all flexibility to then allow him or give your, you know, your recommendation that he jump on this once it's available.
I think my fear with that is if trying to go to purchase the equipment and then finance or budgeting comes back and says, you don't have that.
And that's fine because
Have the
if they're
budget.
recommending that you do it, if we have the money.
Okay.
Maybe is a way to functionally, and I think that's what
Okay.
you were saying basically, right? Yeah. Then, yeah.
So would you feel comfortable setting a budget of $250,000 to say for
That's-
this equipment, or would?
That's more than I want to spend. Yeah, I mean, if we can get those machines at 5,000 that we bought, I mean, if we bought one at each course, if we did, yeah, that's more than I want to spend for sure on this equipment. I'm thinking,
That I'd probably lift beds on.
Yeah, the HDX, that's their heavy duty. That's diesel engine with the hydraulics. All MDX is basically what's in that picture. It's it does have a electro hydraulic dump bed on it, but it's a light hauler for hauling tools and stuff. And, you know, I mean, you can throw some dirt in the back, but you're not gonna haul a lot like you would with the HDXs or have the towing capabilities.
Jesse, what
to
would
be
you
honest,
feel
I'm talking
comfortable?
around 150,000 and that's if everything was price free. That sound right to you, Ron?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, that would be a lot of equipment.
that would
It's
be,
price,
yeah,
but we hope it is.
How much is in the equipment? Roughly.
So yeah, I mean, 150, that would be the most I would want to spend, and that's if everything is priced the way it should be. Or the way we hope it is.
That's good. We've got unencumbered fund over $1 million.
And we, again, that 1.25 is the end of May, and we're gonna get to this in a minute, where June has been ridiculous. So it's more than that now. It's probably closer to 1.4.
Yeah, would expect June, July, and August to be really big months.
So if we set a cap at 150,000, would you guys be comfortable with that? Using staff recommendation and
I'll make the motion then to allow the staff to make the recommendations with the cap of 150,000 to purchase the available equipment from.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's the state.
thank you, guys. Okay. Hopefully I'll have some good news about this pretty soon. All right, the membership increase. So Darius, just lose his mind over this. We had about 1,400 people that are past their first year into their memberships. They are needing to update and either accept the new membership or decline. We've had roughly 1,000 probably,
Heard 1,100.
1,100. It changes. I haven't looked today. So I say Darius, Kevin's also been a huge help. Shanna Applehahn's in marketing. We've all been bi-weekly meetings trying to make sure we're figuring this out, but the data is clean that we have. So we've all probably got an email saying that there's action required, the update. Out of those, probably only had 50 to 60 decline. So it's been a super high percentage have accepted. Now we're trying to figure out how to reach those other 300 to 400. If they don't take any action, their membership's just going to expire. So the next time they go to play golf, they're going to show up and they're going to not have a membership. And they're going to have to go through the process, which obviously that's one way to make sure they act. We've sent push notifications. I'm doing a social media thing tomorrow, which I didn't want to do. We're trying to reach as many as we can. Starting next week, we're physically just going to start making phone calls to potentially 300 people and try to get them.
Put a read receipt on your email so that you get a notification that they've actually read their email that you're sending them.
Yeah.
I mean, that will tell you.
We get a percentage. I don't know each one. I can't look and say that Randy Blum will read it. I just get, there were so many open. this percentage was open. So
The problem is we've got a lot of bad or old email addresses.
Mhm.
So they're getting rejected. We had one today, a text. He said, I don't even have an email. So I printed the form for him, had him fill it out.
and
We're running into those little things everywhere that
we've got flyers, all the courses with the QR code. They literally scan it on their phone, fill it out, takes 2 seconds, and they're done. So we're trying every which way we can. I'm hoping in the next week we can get at least down to maybe 100 people that we haven't heard back from. And then we can start making phone calls. So we'll divide it up and
Also notifying them as they check in.
yeah.
We have a pop,
Oh, yeah, I think I'm saying the same. There's a pop-up when you go to check in, it pops up on the screen that says, have you updated your membership? It kind of prompts the staff to say, hey, you're a member, have you done this? Most people, yes, I have, or whatever. So yeah, we're trying. We've tried to, we
did that this morning. Regular play come in, Mr. Smith, have you updated well, I haven't seen my email, I don't read my emails. They said, well, have it, there's the QR code. So this morning I had 3.
Right.
Before the juniors went off to scan the QR code and filled it all out. I'm assuming that icon that pops up on CPS is 2023 are the ones that have been updated.
Yep.
So a good percentage of them are, so we're catching those. I mean, and staff, Tim, all of the staff behind the counter have been, leading into, hey, if you haven't updated your membership profile, please do so before the June 30th, or your membership will no longer be valid. So it's getting there.
not been fun.
So you do have phone for the folks, and you send them text messages?
We sent in the, not text messages, through the app, send a push notification. So everyone that has that turned on, their phone got a beep and when they click on it, it tells them you need to update your membership. So, we have sat in the room so many hours trying to figure out other ways to get to these people. And I think we've run out of ideas at this point.
it's gonna knock on doors.
Yeah. Yeah. We even considered sending postcards because maybe their address was correct and not their physical address was good, but not their email address. But we sent that push notification and we got about 50 within 20 minutes. So we thought, okay, well, let's hold off. Maybe this is working, but then it tapered off after about 3 minutes. So
Not to jump into a hot topic. Price increase hasn't, I know we've got a couple emails to the board, but no major bad feedback after the vacations.
surprisingly, I've gotten maybe, and I'm not exaggerating, maybe 5 emails and 2 of them were bad. 3 of them were just, I don't really agree with this. So it's not been bad at all. And to be honest, most of the feedback I've gotten was it's about time. And that I haven't gotten emails that say that, but at the courses, I've had several people make comments like that. So the main thing everyone wants to know is, can you guarantee that money is going back into the
Right.
I monitor the Golf Wichita, and that's a lot of the comments is, as long as this money's going back into golf, we're fine.
Oh, yeah, Darius.
Uh,
He gets the phone calls.
yeah, I've gotten a bunch of phone calls. It's a lot of mixed ones. Some people, most of the time it's people just concerned about where it's going. And, of course, there are some people who were on a fixed income type of situation, so they're a little bit more concerned as well, which makes sense. So it's a very hit and miss situation.
See, my apologies, but I have a 5:30 work obligation.
I told you I was going to talk fast and I didn't do that.
This work thing's getting.
I know. Work is a pain.
I'm going to miss all the fun stuff.
Sorry.
Marcy,
Go
let
ahead.
us know when we set something up.
Say that again.
We'll let you know, Randy, I can get
That was fine. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
So if the main issue is making sure that we put the money or saying it's going,
So
then we get out in front of that, those guys here left, the TV news crew left kind of early, but that was a kind of a crazy article that they did.
yeah,
They looked for the worst and they didn't follow up to check with any of the actual folks that run the golf course.
oh,
And they
we-
took it and ran with it.
I can tell
How
you,
do we get in front of that?
I can tell you at Mac, they were taking video of the graveyard of carts that aren't even in service. That's where they were taking video. They were at the golf course at 10:30 at night in the pitch black dark. I don't know. That was what it was. It's bad. Hopefully we've made several videos that we're about to put out that kind of tells the truth, about what they said, but, I just want to move forward and start showing, get these cards, get these renovations going. I mean, things are finally a year late. All the things I'm working on are finally happening. I thought I've said that a few times from false starts, but it is. Also, we've got work going on at a golf course. We got carts. We finalized the details today. So I
I'm
think,
saying there must be some animosity with the media that they would have.
oh, I no, so you were asking about the feedback. The feedback from that article I received, I don't know, 20 text message, 40 calls and 50 emails. Basically, people that were telling me how bad that article was. And I didn't have anyone tell me, that was on their side with that article. So
Is there a way to get the word out as to some of the money that is going back into the golf courses, like that equipment that you guys just purchased? And I think it was supposed to come in like the 1st of June or whatever. Weren't there some mowers or something?
yeah, we've got,
Way?
yep, we've got, I just got an email this morning. Last two greens mowers are in. They just need to be pieced together and delivered. You're waiting. A truck, workman, yeah. That's it.
That kind of information out to the general public where they know that, stuff is happening that.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. Can we invite them, like when the golf carts arrive, invite the media to come down and
Right.
flash that out on the news report as opposed to all that negative.
Yeah, definitely will. We've got, so I'm going to show you some videos in a minute that we've made that we're going to blast everywhere. It's kind of a new marketing campaign that we're doing about change, about upgrades, all that. So I'm going to show you some videos we made. We just need the things to get here. So just like you said, when the carts get here, I definitely will. I can't do that right now because we don't have anything to video,
I showed that picture of Act 16. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Beautiful that picture was compared to how it would have been last year. And everybody like, whoa, I got to get out there and see that again.
Mhm.
That's still, out there doing the hatchet jobs, they're not getting to the people that's actually using the courses and doing something. And you guys, it's doing the work.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, they're more interested in the bad than the good at this point. So we need to get the good on the higher side where they can start focusing on that. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, we try to call them and they don't show up until there's potentially people that are going to be mad about something, it seems like. It's unfortunate. And I'm not saying all of them, but that's been the case so far since I've been here. So.
Yeah, I think once the cards come in, it'll.
Yeah.
It's down quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too. And actually, I'm going to have, the company is going to bring 2 demo carts right after that council meeting that are going to be exactly like the ones that we're going to get. I'm going to post so much stuff. I'm going to blast it everywhere I can find to put it. So, and once the work gets a little bit more, they just started. So once it gets a little more noticeable, I'm going to start posting that everywhere.
Every piece of superintendent equipment you get in, do a video, show what it
Yeah,
does. I don't know what these machines do, so.
Right. And we've done several videos with some of the smaller equipment that we've got, like his D Thatcher. We just posted a big video about that. Took a video. They were at Sim today. They were using a sprigging machine. I've made a video that we'll put out tomorrow.
When you make these videos, you putting them on Facebook or is that?
Yep. We had one video a couple weeks ago that got over almost 12,000 views. So it's hit or miss. It's weird. I'll put one video out, it gets 12,000. I'll put one the next day and it gets 75. I don't understand social media, but I try.
There's no understanding. They're all faking.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think figuring out ways to be more transparent about our budget, where the money's going. Every time, I don't know the best way to get that information out, but the more we do that, I think the better. if someone,
When the sprinkler system running at McDonald's, that's the news. And in the years past, that wasn't happening.
right? Yeah. I think if someone has that argument, well, where's this money going? If I can just have something ready where I can just show, well, here's what we've done. And I think that kind of puts that to rest, as long as we show the money's going back where it should be. Here we go. Here's that video. So course conditions has been another big topic. We had a lot of winter kill, just like every golf course with Bermuda fairways, this whole region. I got to play Flint this past week. They have winter kill. They've spent thousands. I talked to the superintendent trying to get rid of that. I know I'm not going to call out a bunch of courses, but everyone's had it. So at back, this was last week. I think this is a detached fall, basically stopping that grass, leaving that belt, so it opens up for the big transwater and it comes to the root. So this first part, we see the dig, seams the grass straight up. And then the next video is when that grass is standing straight. So any bad spots feels a lot. Because what you want. I think that's my elementary version of what's happening out there.
Big thing is with the growth patterns of Bermuda, that encourages the Bermuda to kick in and really grow. So you get some areas that are kind of thin, you know, that's not real bad, but that'll encourage it to get moving. I mean, you can have a spot, just a bare spot like this, and at the end of the summer, it'll be completely. So if you can imagine spots that are thin, you know, they're gonna snap with also some. It's nice we finally had some rain from Mother Nature, that some fertilizer. So.
And the rain has been at night. It's been, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it's been great. A little bit of rain every night, and then we're open during the day. So.
And that sprinkler results at Tex, like 2 weeks ago when they were sprinkling it, and they was growing back, so it was starting to make a good progress.
Awesome. And that's the same machine we just moved over to Sim. They did that today. They got a lot of area at Sim to cover, but all the courses, I mean, Mike, you're probably there, but there's a roll 150 roll where basically if you take the low take a day, you take the low for that day and the high for that day and you add them together. Until it gets where that number is above 150, you'll have some growth. It's not going to really start to recover and repair like you want it to. So if it's 60 in the morning, it's only 140 when you add them together. You're not really going to take off. So we're just now really getting those days where we get the heat that we're looking for. So I mean, I can tell, I've talked to some of the players, like especially at Sim, there were a lot of complaints, and they had a lot of they got that sandy base soil right there by the river, so every course is different. But I mean, I was out there today, I'm out there a lot, and talking to people, and everyone had said it's gotten a lot better, improving, so, and we're handcuffed until we get the weather, so. Okay. Any questions about any of that?
Whole business, real quick. What's the status that we were done to finally get that assistant pro?
That's coming up too. We're interviewing on Monday.
Budget, that's, let it go through.
Yeah, we got there, but yeah, it just closed. We had a few applicants. We're going to interview 4 on Monday. Hopefully, in about 2 weeks, that person will be starting. Okay. Any other questions before we like finance reports next?
Just another quick hats off to all the superintendents.
Yes.
I've been out to Auburn and Sim and heard many comments from the other two that everything's in really, really good shape right now.
Oh, but I left that latitude wrong. It is looking good.
Got it.
Acres.
Okay. So going into the report and finance update. Where I can see here, year to date, So again, I always say this, we know how busy last year was. And looking at what we're doing this year, we're up 21% over last year. I mean, I can't explain it. I go to the course, try to talk to Scott. I stand there for 5 minutes. I just leave because it's not, I mean, it's a line through the pro shop and that's all 4 courses all day, every day. So 71,000 rounds total through the end of May. It's
That's 22 and 20 in your totals, or is that through May?
through May. Same, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
timeframes. Okay.
And one thing I want to point out, so right now you can see on here, Mac is the lowest by about 1,000. But if you look at just May alone, Mac is right there with the other than Tech's run so many rounds. They had like a Wednesday 2 weeks ago where they had 278 rounds. And it was just a Wednesday. No reason. It was crazy. So Tech's does a crazy amount of rounds, but 23,500 rounds this year compared to 19,000 last year, 22% increase. Again, we did get fortunate with the rain being at night, but from what I could tell last year, there was just a couple of days in May of rain. So the people are still coming, that's for sure. Cart rentals were at 478,000 this year compared to just under 400,000 last year, 20% increase in revenue from cart rentals. Looking at food and beverage, we are up 30%, 54,000 or something up from last year. Every course is up quite a bit. Sim, we've been doing a lot of work in the clubhouse, so we've probably gotten in the way with trying to get that upgrade done. So I expect that to take off. Kevin's going to talk about the plans there that are about to happen very quick with food and beverage. But again, a big increase, and we haven't even done. We've been waiting on these clubhouse renovations, so we haven't even done the things that we're looking to do now. Driving range revenue is up almost $20,000. If you go to the ranges, they're just lined from one end to the other. We've got people waiting for spots on a couple of days, which is crazy. So 30% increase in range revenue. The new range balls have been a big hit. Merchandise comparison. So we only get 5% of this, but it does show how much activity we have in the courses. So we're up 30% there as well, from 121 to 157. You can see Auburn. This guy, he don't know much, but he knows merchandise. I'll tell you that. And Sim has been negative all year. They were, I think, negative 19% because he just took over and didn't have anything, and he's already got that on the plus for the year. So he's starting to fill that shop and bring stuff in. Membership counts last month. Oh, that should say May. I forgot to change that up top. So last month we were at 1722, and we've added nearly 100 members again this month. So they're sneaking in under the new rate. So for next year, which is fine, but we still have just a ton of new folks coming on board every day. So, and then total revenue. Hey, man, I really need to focus on that header. That should be May. We did $773,000. That's, I think, the biggest May that we've had on record. And then look at year to date, we're at 2.3, just over 2.3 million. Last year, at this point, we were at 1.9. So we're nearly 400. We are $400,000 up, $413,000 up, 21%. So of course, that's just revenue. With revenue, their expenses. So to make money, you got to spend money. So they're coming up, but we're still making more profit by far last year so far. All right, you should have emailed you a copy of this. It's kind of hard to see, but main takeaways. We're at. Let me do something real quick. So about 41% of the year here, and you can see our revenue is it's just over 41%. Factor in that included January, February, March, where it was cold. That's awesome that we're already at that point. The expenses are right in line, 41%. So we're not looking too bad there on personnel services. On contractuals, we're at 48, but on materials and supplies, we are at 38. So all the other expenses on that line, we're at 42%. So we're right through 40% of the year, we're at 42% of our budget on expenses. And that's with the major repairs we had to do to the irrigation at the first of the year. So all in all, I feel pretty good about that. The main thing I want to focus on this bottom number here. So this is where it's the last month we were at 980 something, I think 980 something thousand, or maybe lower. I don't remember the number. We've added $278,000 to the bottom line just in May, and June is blowing May away right now. So if we can get 4 or 5 months like this, we're going to add, I mean, it depends on what we spend. We would add 1.2, 1.4 million to the bottom line. Doing $250,000 a month. Now, again, this is where this next meeting, putting that list, that priority list of the things that we need, and we can start, we're to the point where we can start chipping away at these things, I feel. So. And then I kind of put this in, I've said June's been off to a big start. Total revenue, this is through the 18th. So it does not count yesterday or today. We're at 544,000. We just need 21,000 a day to hit 800,000. And on the weekends, we're hitting 35,000. Last year at this point, we were at 505, and last year was a huge June that we're up against. And I was nervous going in when I saw how big last year was, but we're blowing it away. So, yeah, we should be able to hit 800,000. I don't know that golf division has ever done that for a month. And then total rounds, we are, again, June was huge last year, and we're still about 5 rounds up. So if we keep that pace, we'll be about 1,200 rounds up by the end of the month over last year. Oh. I showed this list last time. This is kind of some of the projects we've done. So we completed everything up top. And then I've marked out some of the things we've started on in process, the clubhouse remodels at Tex and Mac. That started, new carts. I can, after this meeting I just had, I can all but mark that out as soon as it just gets through council. On the future projects, the simulator room is part of that renovation. Our past, we have not figured out. The kitchen remodels are about to start. Kevin's going to talk about that. Irrigation is the big one that we have to figure out. Continuous equipment purchases, those have all started to come in. Basically they're all here except for his workman. And then hopefully this Flint Hills deal works out. I did not mean to mark out on-course restrooms. I've got some information to share about that in a second. And then some of those things at the bottom. So we're starting to slowly check some items off here. Okay, any questions?
Do you have any update with First Tee of their building?
They're getting closer. They had a huge donation come in, but I don't
have a date for breaking ground.
No, they have to hit a certain number, and with that donation, if it comes through, I think they would, but they're not there yet, so I don't want to.
It's gonna interfere with any of our driving range. Because it's going right there in front.
Yeah, it's going to the no. It'll be a mess. It'll be loud but no, the tee box will still be open.
Have any budget adjustments with the 3 new assistant pros, or that's going to be fine the way it is?
No, that was already done. I had accounted for that when I did the budget back at the end of last year, which was another confusing part of why that was so hard to get past, but no adjustments for that.
So basically, when we get kind of towards the end of the year, we'll have a pretty good grasp on the personnel costs for 2024. So if we're looking to add maybe a mechanic for the system itself.
Yep, everyone should be in place after this assistant for the most part. I mean, we have some small, we're always looking for staff, a lot of hourly staff, and we're short pretty much everywhere, but all the salary employees that we are going to have in place should be, after this hire, should be in place so we can have a good idea of where we stand.
Question. Do we have any potential input on maybe revising your seasonal staff wages a little bit to maybe where we could enhance somebody to come work for
Yeah, we've slowly started chipping away. We've done, so we raised everyone to no one's under $10. Last year, we had a few people that were in the $8 and something mark. So we've got everyone above $10. And we're slowly, there's kind of periods throughout the year where you can do step increases, and then we're working on that. That is difficult with, who is that? Okay. It threw me off. Yeah, we're working on that step by step. It's just, that's a big, when you have that many people and you raise everybody $1 or $2, it's a big impact. So we're having to work with finance and work with budgeting to do that.
They let you do that now. It used to be that you had to go through thick and thin to jump a step or two within range.
If it's an individual, I can do it. Trying to do it across the board, there's a lot of people involved. Yeah.
You have to do each individual.
We did the first step at across the board. I had HR, finance, budgeting, everyone had to be involved. City manager approval. Yeah, there's a lot of people involved.
Circumvent that a little bit by doing each one individually, so
Right.
people don't walk on you because they're.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we'll continue to kind of work, chip away on that. We're anywhere near where we need to be competitive, to give these people what they deserve, but it's a slow process.
It looks like course manager or lacking just one opening. What about in the maintenance? How are we headcount in that area?
Not Sims. Struggling bad. Ron today just interviewed, jumping the gun, but he interviewed for a greenskeeper position that's been vacant since November, I think. He's posted that job. I think this is the third time, and this is finally the first applicant has gotten with experience. So hopefully that worked out well. On left, they're all short. They're not where we want to be, but doing what we can. But we have postings open constantly. So.
When you had that golf appreciation, it seemed to be a pretty big hit. And I thought you said that you were possibly going to do that at some of the other courses, maybe kind of spread that around.
So I've got a junior on August 5th. Is that right?
Look,
That Friday, the first part of August, I got my dates wrong. I'm doing a junior golf day. So it's going to be at MAC. We're going to have all the junior organizations, First Tee, Wichita Junior Golf Foundation. I've got a pro golfer I'm working on, depending on the schedule, that we come out and work with them. Pretty big name, I don't want to say it yet, but hopefully that works out. So it'll be focused more towards junior. And then in September, I'm going to have a ladies golf day at, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Junior golf day is going to be at Tex. Ladies golf day will be at MAC in September. So we're working on more events like that. There's a lot that goes into that. So trying to kind of pace spread, and these guys are so busy right now if I did that golfer appreciation day right now, they would pretty much tell me to fly kite. There's no time. So August 4th at Tex. What's August? What day is that? Friday? Friday. Okay.
Steve said he's off that day.
Until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
He's off till the kids leave.
All right. Any other questions?
No other questions. I guess we will hear from Scott if he has a word or two to say.
Do you have anything, or? I've got, again, I knew these guys couldn't break away. Scott was going to be here until just a few minutes ago. So I didn't really ask them to come and provide an update. So if you have something, that's great.
Just kind of going back to what Evans stated earlier, and Jesse, it's just been crazy. And I have thanked Ron Mosier every day for the last 4 weeks during the month of latter part of May through today. We had a 2-day junior tournament with Central Links juniors, kids from all over the state, Topeka, Kansas City, Manhattan, Hayes. Ulysses. I mean, they were from everywhere. But the activity that I put on that golf course and put Ron Mosier through the ringer every day. Well, then I'm not done because we have senior league shotgun tomorrow morning at 8:30 with 72 players. So it's been a roller coaster ride. I mean, I think everybody got to the point after, you know, the Corn Ferry that it was kind of a little bit of a break, and then we started right back up. But we'll take about a week off, and then we'll start back up with some smaller tournaments. But you know, like we have the last 3 years, we kind of run that gauntlet of 16, 18 tournaments from the last part of May through the last part of, or the middle of June. So, but golf course is in great shape. Timely rains, we could use a good 3-inch, 4-inch gully washer to fill up our irrigation pond, because I think there's out of all those rains, we've had one time where it actually went into the irrigation pond. All the ponds above it are catching it also. But all in all, food and beverage, Kevin keeps me running because he keeps booking outings, eating. Those guys that text Sim and Mac don't realize that all the activities that we have, which, I mean, it's fun, but it comes at an expense, because it's easy to ring somebody up at the counter, but in the back room, you got BNI group, and then you got Edward Jones, and you got a graduation party on Saturday, Sunday, tournament Monday, tournament Friday, tournament. I mean, it's been fun. It really, as the activity levels have really increased. So all in all,
The breakfast and lunch ones are not fun.
yeah, I mean, the one thing that we're missing and we haven't had for 3 years since that position got cut was more of a 3/4 time, not quite full-time position. So when we're hosting events on a weekend and Friday, Saturday, you know, Friday lunch, Saturday breakfast, Saturday lunch, I mean, I have seasonal staff, but Kevin's coming in on the weekends and doing.
110 breakfast burritos by 7:30 in the morning.
You make them?
I made it.
In the lunch.
Then break that down, and they're coming in for lunch after. He did that 2 days in a row to me, a Friday and a Saturday.
I offered him keys to the golf shop, but he said, no.
Hell no. Put that on tape.
So we'll slow down for a couple of weeks and then we'll pick back up. Junior golf has started. Our junior program has 120, 124 kids in it. Our kids are there for 2 hours. They get an hour and a half worth of instruction every day, which stretches us very thin on Tuesdays. Then we have PGA Junior League at 45 minutes or what's practice. I guess we're not a league team, but I give juniors on Tuesday evenings lessons. So
One question. We still have Wichita junior golf every Monday in all courses.
Except for all. And I've already set up a meeting at the end of this season with Wichita Junior Golf to figure that out next year.
We're going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Split it up so we're not shut down for the whole
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen next year. So this is my first year to really see how this works and understand it. And right off the bat, like, you know, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna meet with them as soon as this season is over and we're gonna figure out a different method for next year.
Do it Monday, Thursday or something.
Well, I looked up yesterday, I looked up I pulled the report for the day to see where we were at, I don't know, like 10 o'clock, and we were at $1,800. I about had a heart attack because I was thinking we should be at 10 grand already. And then it dawned on me, we got 3 courses that are closed, and that's why. So it's a great program. I definitely want to keep it going. I don't want to, stop it or disrupt it, but it's got to make sense. So we're going to change that next year.
We're all for junior golf, but you got 4 different programs in juniors.
Yeah, we got a lot.
At least.
well, and then you compound that on the Monday that we had, last Monday when we had the PGA Tour out there, that means all 4 golf courses are closed. Ours is closed all day. The other 3 are closed till noon. So, I mean, Mac, I think, does the same programming that we do with beginners. So, I mean, but I think they play. They don't play at my facility. But we give them an hour and a half worth of instruction, where the other ones just get a half hour and then they go play golf and they keep the golf courses closed. I mean, like Jesse said, I mean, it's a total loss because we get $3.75. That's it. Keep our golf courses closed.
But some junior golf got to pull around in a lot of places, dropped them because of that. And we're still offering them, but you know, they need to bend a little bit. Not that we want to do away with any program, but spread it out a little bit.
All right.
Okay. Ron, did you want to speak and think while you're here?
We're gonna get into that on in a minute.
Okay. Good. Just, yeah, we got some information we'll share here in a little bit about a
Okay.
project.
I think we can get on to project update unless does anyone have specific questions about any of the courses, any specific course? Yeah. All right. All right, so I'll get into the project update and kind of bounce all over the place. So I just talked about this assistant pro interviews are this Monday, hopefully within 2 weeks to 20 days, that person will be starting at MAC. So that'll give us 3 full-time assistants everywhere except for SIM. We don't plan on putting one at SIM just because it's a smaller, more simple operation without the driver. All right, so I mentioned this a while back and that there was a company that contacted me about giving me a quote on the outdoor restrooms. I got this back just to kind of put it on your radar. This building is basically a prefab building that they do all the work. It would be $99,000 for the bathroom, and you can kind of see.
For that price, they should get the rest of the house.
Yeah. You can see up here, this would be an open area down here. Women's restroom, you'll see the middle world stuff is the urinal toilet thing there.
The other part of this, we would have to have running water to this location. Most of the places we have running water, we already have a building, probably just dressed up. I do get a lot of complaints about SIM, primarily in text, whatever those glorified porta potties. I don't know what those are.
Big porta potties.
Yeah. I do get a lot of complaints about those. So I don't know where this fits on the priority list, but it's something that I do hear about quite a bit. But I told you I was getting this quote, so I wanted to put it in front of you.
So $100,000 just for the building itself.
That's building all the fixtures. That's everything except for, I believe, the transportation is what it said on the quote. That's the hookup. That's everything.
Doesn't include the water line and the sewer line.
Hmm.
And all that.
Nope, which would be a major expense. In the
Does
middle,
that-
of course.
It does have a sewer line, or is that more like the porta potty where you pump it out each day?
No, this has a sewer line or a septic tank, I guess, if you want to. I don't know how that works.
Pump out. I don't know if you could at SIM because the soil, the state would allow, but out of Texas, I think you could put in a septic system like a rural home would have. I mean, it would be far less than having to run to, I don't know where the sanitation sewer line would be, but that would be.
The bathroom now is basically in the middle of the course. It'd be a ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Anyway, I'll send you guys like the full estimate so you can look at it. But again, just wanted to.
Seems like
What's that?
that just seemed like a lot of $100,000 for a bathroom.
Money for a toilet, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave you one of these forms here, or one of these sheets here, talking about the proposed irrigation, the retention lake at McDonald. This is something that has been kind of in talks several years, I believe. So just to kind of show you where it's at first on the slide here, you can see it would be between number 10 and 18. So
Clubhouse here, 18 coming up, 10 more. Be between those two.
So as you can see on this handout that Ron kind of topped up, it would be obviously for irrigation purposes. Right now, when our ponds dry up, we have no irrigation. We rely on city water, which is extremely expensive. Right now, the current storage capacity is under 3 million gallons, and adding this lake would add another 3 million. So it's double the amount of water we have for irrigation. He added on here, the cost of water, 2008 was $2.12. Now it's $7.75, what we pay per 1,000 gallons. And just May this year, we used almost 3 million gallons of city water. If this lake would have been in place, we would have saved $23,000 just in May. So the total cost, if you look at the bottom, is 426,000. That's broken down. So 426,000 in 1 month, got 23,000 of that back. You know, if it's raining all the time, we're probably okay, but we obviously know since it rained once in the last year, that's not the case. So it would be a great addition. It is $400,000. So we'd have to figure that out. Last year in October, we did an on-site meeting with the various parties that were involved. And they came out, and this is an actual estimate of, with everyone agreeing that this should be the cost of this project. So to, you know, get the money back on a project like this typically takes a long time. On this, I really don't think it would. If we could get off of city water, we spent 215,000 last year. I mean, if we can get off of city water completely, we're going to recoup that money fairly quick. So this is and Ron, if you want to come up, if you've got more to add, I know you've worked on this for a while, so.
Okay,
We have help that pumps that.
no,
Stormwater runoff.
so this,
There any conservation help that we could get with something like this? I mean, to save city water and the expense of that?
probably I don't know if there is, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I mean, this was first thought of several years ago before the 13th Street expansion, engineering and public works for touring golf course, and Gary Jensen, who was engineer at the time, who's now the head of public works. You know, he made the comment, we were standing down below, that pond number 1, that's on number 9. And I remember him saying, man, we could store a lot more water on this property. And so long story short, you know, last year we did the improvements on what would be their lakes number 3, 5, and 6. Those two, or those, they hold water for irrigation purposes. I'm able to run water from those on down the creek line to the next pond and on down. So for about the last 5 years, couldn't even use those. They weren't holding water. So since that work was done last year, that's also been a good investment to save us some money on irrigation water. So yeah, I mean, there's you know, like right now, our storage capacity on lakes 3, 5, and 6 is about 1.8 million on those. On the 1st of June this year, you know, in May, early May, we used all the additional water we could. Then we had to start purchasing city water. And about the 1st of June, we started getting some rain. We were at the point of having to purchase city water again. And yeah, had some rain from June 1st to June 5th, and all the lakes were full. So we have not had to purchase any city water, and along with the rainfall, you know, we're not irrigating near as much. It, you know, depends on the timeliness of the rain, you know, so, but, you know, but with the lakes full from June 6th, or excuse me, June 10th to the 18th, we've had 1.8 inches of rain. The lakes are full, so that water is just running on out the property, never to be seen again. So, bottom line, anything we can do to increase retention on the golf course will always save money in the long run. It's, there's been times that's, like it happened this year. We don't get any rain the next day or two. I'm starting to buy city water every day, spending $1,500 to $2,000 a day buying water. So, and then boom, we got some rain. The rain helped to fill the lakes up. So there's been years when, I could count on, 5 to 7 times a year utilizing all that extra water. So of course the timeliness of the rains, matter quite a bit. So there's been years that I've been able to use, wrong paper. Just percentage wise of total irrigation, there's been years that that probably 2016 was the highest. 26% of our total irrigation was from extra rate retention in lakes 3, 5, and 6. So like I say, it depends on the timeliness of the rain, but we've averaged between 2012 and 2017, 4.7 million gallons from those other lakes. So, if timely rains fill the lakes up and that other lake was there, we're looking at another, instead of going from 1.8, you're going to about 5 or 4.8 million with that other lake. So I believe it's something that we definitely need to discuss, and it's hopefully something we can put in that 5-year plan and possibly even decide how to go about it, and even getting that, if we could get that in CIP funds for 2024. And I mentioned to Jesse, I think the time is right. A couple of weeks ago, the mayor was on TV talking about water conservations, and one of the remarks he made was, and we're irrigating our golf courses from ponds. So, which we do. So we have to buy city water. The other 3 courses have wells that supply their water. So, and I don't think the price of city water is going down. It went up 6.5% this year. That's just going to keep happening. So, like as Jesse mentioned, I started at McDonald in 2008. It was $2.12 per thousand. Now it's $7.76 per thousand. So it's a precious commodity, which it actually is. I mean, we all need it just to live. So, but there's Mother Nature makes plenty of it for us. We just need to be able to catch it and use it.
So Ron, what will it take to put number 8 back into play, or put it into play actually, so we can retain water there and irrigate out of it?
On the little lake in front of hole number 8?
No, number 8.
Oh, number 8. That lake, it's actually was never designed to be a retention lake for irrigation water. That is the upper lake. It's got so much sediment in it. I've had 2 different companies come in and give cost estimate. The first one was $400,000 just to dredge that lake. So and it has no irrigation value. Lake 7 has no irrigation value. The good thing is the second company I had in, they actually went out in a small boat and tested the sediment in the bottom. And they said 5 and 6, which does have irrigation value, there's very little sediment. So that is a good thing from there. So those other ones, they're not very big. The money we would spend trying to get those to hold water, I don't think would be feasible.
Cost $400,000 to do number 8, but it costs us $480,000 to create a new one there 10.
Yeah, that was their estimate, just to dredge out number 8. Which, yeah, it's like.
They didn't want to do it.
Maybe so, yeah. They drove down here from Nebraska to look at it, and it was a cold winter day, and maybe they just decided. No, but they have contacted me twice since then. I just said, we're not moving on this right now, so.
Outside of the dredging part of it, just takes too much to put that make into play to use it for irrigation.
Right. Well, ability for irrigation, it would have to have valves like basically number 5 and 6 are the same lake. They're connected by a tube underneath the cart path. At the south end of number 8, or excuse me, pond number 5, there's a valve I can open. the water runs on into number 17, overflows down to number 3, which also has a valve I can open, and then run down the creek line to number 1 and 2 are also the same lake. They're connected by a tube and that's the one we pump out of. So basically what we can do, the higher the lakes to the north, we can open up and run that water down to the lake we pump out of. The new lake would just add to that holding capacity. It would be a very simple construction project. Basically be a cut and fill. Most of it would be cut into, most of it would be on number 10, on number 18. But basically it'd be taking the dirt out, going right around, putting it over on 18 to build number 18 up so the lake doesn't, creep clear up to the fairway. So. Yeah, and there would be some pretty good size mounding on the left side of 10 also, but it would be, when we talked with Jay from MKEC, it would be engineered to, they would look at the water level lines and decide where they needed to do it to not have the water encroach into 18. It would a little bit, but not.
Somebody designed that 8 and 7 were actually put in there for the purposes of catching sediment.
Yeah.
Off the street, which is why they're so bad. So,
yeah.
but they've done their job, but unfortunately,
yeah,
their lifetime is gone.
Yeah.
So,
and the other company that came and looked, and they're from Kansas City, but they haven't got a price back to me. So, yeah, if you could get 400,000 to do that one pond, I'm in the wrong business. So.
Any other questions, Ron? This is something we're really going to have to look at when we discuss projects for the long term.
Yeah, the proposed, and it's actually, I got the document here that MKEC engineering firm did, and they're the same engineering firm that designed all the lake work bridges that were done last year. Their fee would be no more than $45,000. So I don't know, one of those things that we may have to discuss, just spending that money and doing it ourselves so we can know exactly what construction costs will be. Yeah. Yeah. So that was included in the total cost. So.
What's time span look like? Would you have to shut down 10 and 18?
This could be an off season.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, if it did get approved next year, I don't know how if it could go ahead and go out for bid to where, okay, the money's good to spend in January, work could start January 1. I don't know. I'm going to call Jay at MKEC and ask him, how many work days he thinks this would take. So, I mean, ideally off season would be the time to do it. I do know with all the other projects, there was very little disruption of play doing that. So, mainly it's going to be heavy equipment. And I mean, they're going to be, it's all, what they'll be doing is all in a confined area of what the lake will end up being. So.
So in that big swale coming into 18, pipe the water from the road underneath.
The big swell.
Yeah, you got the big swale, you go down and come up on 18.
No, this lake would be.
This way at least.
Oh, you mean a place to put the dirt? Yeah. Yeah. They would decide how much, in the plan is all the dirt would be used pretty much right in that area. I mean, the most expensive part about doing any type of work is the earth moving and just keeping it all confined right there is going to save money. They're looking at $10 a cubic yard for excavation work. In 2016, we did a study and someone who was in charge of golf was wanting to move all that dirt from there up to where the driving range is now. Well, that was going to be about $15 or $16 8 years ago. So we're looking at less money 8 years later. So just by using it. What's that?
I said, dang, you actually got a functioning range.
Yeah. So yeah, the idea was that dirt would be used to build the range, but the way the range was designed, they were able to do it with, cut and fill and doing it right on site. So
Do you know approximately how much we spent for city water last year?
last year, I can tell you, I should be right about to the darn number. A lot of pages here. Last year, yep, 2022, 180, according to the meter readings that every time I use city water, I take a meter reading at the meter before and after. So I know exactly to the gallon how much I'm using. Last year, 180,502 of actual water cost. With last year, we probably would have only gotten maybe 1 or 2 drawdowns on that. So, last year I used, it was by far the most I've ever used, over 25 million gallons of water, of purchasing city water. In years past, I've had years of, 2012 was dry. We had total irrigation of 34 million and 18 million of it was city water. So, but last year from July through November, or early November, we were just relying on city water total. So, last year's an anomaly. So, but, we've probably still averaged, I can just show you some numbers. It varies. 2012, starting 2012, 18 million and 5.6, 12.6, 5.3, 3.4, 8.2, 7.2, 6 million. 2020 was 15 million. And last year was 25 million, but it was a pretty severe drought. So, and last year we didn't have the advantage of even being able to use water out of number 3, 5, and 6 because,
Drought years, you're not gonna get a lot of runoff to you.
no, right, yeah. So,
That's good.
yeah, the drought years are kind of the outlier. You can't count that into the equations.
You say with that pond, we would not need any city water then.
Whew. That would mean a lot of it would depend on the time we get the rain. Sure. No, we would never get to where we don't need to purchase city water, I don't think. But it would, it would give our additional storage going from about 1.5 million, 4.5 million. So, the 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year. I mean, we're looking at, if we were able to utilize that 5 times a year, that's an extra 15 million gallons a year that we don't have now. So.
Oh, man, for God's sake, he does use his water pretty judiciously. And as Robert probably knows, he plays over there quite a bit.
Yeah.
There is that could use water that we don't.
Yeah.
And it's because of the cost of the water.
Yeah. It's basically, keep the doors open. Quite honest. Fine.
Do you get the water into the north corner? You don't have the ponds up there. How do you get the irrigation water up to the north
Okay.
corner?
Okay. Well, the irrigation pump is down on the southwest side of number 1 pond. Okay. Then the irrigation piping runs all through the golf course. So the pumps are down there and it's pumps the water throughout the whole golf course.
So right now, we don't have any problem pumping the water up there in the sprinkler system, and that north
Oh.
corner is all right.
No. Yeah.
It seems a little dry these days.
In the north corner or the,
Yeah,
East.
on east corner now.
Hmm.
That's why I was wondering about that number 8 pond.
oh,
That's some of that judicious use.
yeah, I could, I do have some historical numbers, but I won't bore you with that. Just, yeah. From 1998 to 2006, McDonald used 37 million gallons of city water a year average. From 2008 to 2014, we used 12 million gallons on average. So, but you know, it's when McDonald was redone, I imagine water was maybe $1 per 1,000 gallons, if even that. Yeah. So, you know, and we're not the only ones. Wichita Country Club in the last few years has converted about, well, including with their Zoysia fairways, about 70 acres of cool season ryegrass and bluegrass to Zoysia and Bermuda just because of the water costs. So it is what it is. So.
Yeah.
Oh, not yet.
Oh,
All right, so I'll make this quick. All right, we've got some other things going on. Scott mentioned this, junior golf. We've got first tee, Wichita Junior Golf, the junior tour is a competitive tour that we do every Sunday. Junior PGA Junior League, we got a lot of things. Wichita Junior Golf has about 120 kids per site every Monday, and then Scott on Tuesday. So we are doing our part. And we could take more if we had more room. So junior golf is very strong in Wichita. Something Kent called me yesterday, the golf pro at Sim, and brought up the idea of doing night golf, and he didn't really want to do a tournament, which is kind of something I didn't really want to do either. So he brought up, what if we stayed open 24 hours and we did 9 holes because we get a ton of requests for this, especially couples. It's a huge, I used to do it all the time. So set up 9 holes, like maybe twice a year, with light the course and do with the glow balls and do like a 24 hours of sim deal. So we're probably gonna, but that just came up yesterday. We're gonna work through the details, but I think we'll have, while I was there today, we brought that up to about 10 people. All 10 said, sign me up right now. I'll do it. So we'll try it. Maybe cool. I've done this a lot. Sim is a perfect place because there's not a lot of bridges. It's pretty open. We'll try to time it on a full moon, so it's not quite as bad and people aren't driving in bunkers, but I think it'll be pretty fun. If it don't work, it don't work, but
I've had a couple folks that asked for that as well. So.
yeah, I used to do them at private clubs and it was packed.
Informational purposes, we did that reflection when I was out there, and they still do it. So if you want to get some information, call and give us.
Okay. And I've done it a ton in the past. I used to do it at all my clubs, but yeah, we'll keep it fairly simple. We'll line the fairway. We're not going to have lights every 2 feet. We'll keep it pretty simple, but
We have all the flags. We already have all the stuff.
okay.
It's in the attic at Auburn and it's not coming out because all.
Good sale, right?
So,
One's dangerous in my place.
one more quick thing I want to pull up before I turn it over to Kevin real quick. Do this. Where is this right here? This is one of the, I can get this to play. Where's it at? I don't know what's about to pop up here. So, okay, here's one. Oh, there's one. So these are some of the actions. It wasn't very light. We're focusing on step left, another one. So there's two. And the third phase is going to be focused on the carts, the renovations of the clubhouse, just really pushing that out as much as we can. And Shanna, I'm going to make sure and say thanks to her and give her some kudos. She's been working very hard on trying to help promote some of the things that we're trying to do without a lot of content yet. It's been a challenge because we just talk about it. So now we're finally getting to show some stuff. So back to your point, as soon as all these things start to happen, we're going to put them out as much as possible. Now, again, I said we've made a ton of videos last week, got a lot more scheduled that we're putting on YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere we think of, just to kind of show people that things are happening and where the money is going back into the courses. So show that.
Just the billboard ads on Kellogg, that's a nice touch.
I made a U-turn and almost had a wreck because I saw beat up for big changes and I was like, somebody else is using our slogan, our slogan. I turned around, it was our billboard. I didn't know it was going to be there. All right.
Short and sweet. So we did a lot of the stuff at Sim already, and this was kind of my initial drawings of their back kitchen area that none of you ever see anyway. But we're pretty much got what's there, like over in this area, it's got an old wooden countertop with 3 sinks that's torn up and leaking. So we're basically tearing all that out and switching to, so this is some of the new equipment. So here's 5-foot sandwich cooler, your basic cooler that you see at Subways and stuff where they'll have all kinds of their condiments and stuff up top to build sandwiches. Scott has one at Auburn right now. Adding stainless steel 3 sink instead of the one they have looks like it's should be in your garage or something. So that'll clean that up and it's going to save a lot of room because it takes up a lot of room there. New hand sinks. There'll be some new refrigeration. Right now they have a full-size freezer and a half-size refrigerator, so it's hard to store anything. So they will get a full-size refrigerator back there in order to do it. These will be used in the 3 golf courses that don't have a grill like Auburn does for burgers and stuff like that. There'll be a couple of these, and they don't require hoods, which is a major expense that we don't want to get into. This is the big item that Jesse and I have been talking about for 8 months. I'm actually ordering it tomorrow for Sim, and we will get one at every course as soon as we get these remodels and stuff going on. But we're going to go ahead and get Sim's kitchen done hopefully in the next 3 weeks with this Turbo Chef oven. And it's basically the thing you see at Subway where they can heat up your entire sandwich in 45 seconds. It's the same ovens, completely programmable, which brings us to items that I'll be adding. Breakfast items. There'll be croissant sandwiches and breakfast bowls, which is basically a cup of eggs, bacon, or sausage, hash browns, cheese, and fits right in your cup holder on your cart. Off you go with a spoon with a bowl of breakfast. We'll have different burgers. There'll be others, but barbecue bacon, cheeseburgers, patty melts, all kinds of gourmet hot dogs. And I actually tested all these at Auburn and fed a bunch of them that day. Memphis is a barbecue bacon cheese dog. A Philly dog's kind of self-explanatory with onions, peppers, cheese. Cuban has all the stuff a Cuban has on it, a little bit of pulled pork, mustard, cheese, and pickles. Philly cheese dog, dog and pig has pulled pork on top, and then a German dog is kind of a Reuben hot dog. They all went over very well. A couple salads for the lighter side, and then a whole line of sandwiches. There'll be more than this. There'll be kind of a build your own sandwich, kind of a Subway type deal, or Jimmy John's or stuff like that. And then appetizers that we can do in those ovens, not needing a fryer. Be able to do chips and queso, pretzels, jalapeno poppers, mini tacos, fried mozzarella, cheese fries, stuff like that. So just kind of upping the offerings to get us to that, which should easily get us to that $5 per golfer mark if even half the people sit and have food. First part was making the dining rooms more comfortable so it didn't look like you were in your 1967 elementary school cafeteria, which is what they've looked like before the remodels. Questions? We're still playing with liquor license. That's going to be a major process.
Correct.
I've done them everywhere, actually. Well, Auburn's been running them, Tex. Okay, just those two. So there's a pulled pork product that Cisco has. It's made by Hormel. It's their Austin Blues line. And really all I taught him to do was we took a 5-pound bag of pulled pork, threw it in a crock pot on high with some half barbecue sauce, half water. And we're just doing barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. I believe both courses sold out every weekend. They've done it in a hurry, and it's a $5 item instead of a $3.50 item. We've added bratwurst at all the courses already, and you sold out of them again this weekend. Steve did them out at Tex, and he's like, they're going like crazy. And they're a little more than a hot dog price, but people like different things. He still does hot links. Tex does the, Polish. They're all doing a little varied thing. So we're trying to do things they can do without changing the kitchens. And we have crock pots and steam tables. So excuse me, in the next month or so, I'll have everybody doing the pulled pork on the weekend. I want to make sure they're staffed and ready for it. It really takes no time. It's slapping on a bun, wrapping in foil, and you're off and going.
That new menu, is that tied to when those ovens come in, those turbo F ovens come in?
Yeah. Yeah, because I really don't have any way to cook anything except a hot dog right now.
Those aren't available at all. Right?
They're going to be as soon as at Auburn, we've had a position we've posted for someone with some kitchen experience, so I can actually pull away and help Jesse with all these other projects. Because the last 2 months at Auburn, like Scott said, have been nuts with, we had every graduation in the entire city was done at Auburn, I believe. I was there pretty much every day, a couple weeks in a row. So, excuse me, the application I had of the 60 applicants, 2 of them had any cooking experience, and those 2 did not answer my calls for interviews. So getting people in, it is a little higher paying job position. That'll be there 3/4 to full time. There's just at Auburn, there's a lot going on. And then at the other units, we're going to take the staff we have and kind of train them to do these things because they're going to be fairly simple and kind of cut and paste items, where Auburn, it's more cooking, but I've got to find them a cook and I'm not having any luck. We did get the ad changed so the title says kitchen. For a while it said whatever, clerk, customer clerk 2. And I had everybody who's ever worked in the mall applying for the job. When in the bottom, it said you need to have kitchen experience. So
It's not a full-time.
during season, absolutely it'll be. I mean, they're going to be there a lot because I was spending 50 hours a week there. So, and I have other things going on. So, if you know anybody who has some cooking experience, place my wife works part-time, just fired their cook, but I don't want him. He's a slob. Questions before I let Mike adjourn us?
I'll say real quick on that, with that menu, one thing I was a little bit concerned about is getting overcomplicated with with our operation. With that oven, and of course, this is his world, so it's his thing, but I've used that oven before in a course and we went and tested it out. It's so easy and so minimal work that goes into that. We can expand the menus and offer a lot more stuff without really overcomplicating the operation. So if you come in, 4 people come in off the course and they want 4 different things, it literally takes 6 minutes. Gather food. It's not a lot of work.
The goal when I put together that menu, and I have a little more for the Auburn one because he has a fryer and he has a full grill, was no single item will take more than 2 minutes. Because if you're doing it at the turn, that's what you want. Again, when we didn't speak at all about this RFP for the POS system, but that'll be a big part of it that you'll be able to order on your phone when you hit the AT box and when you pull up to the clubhouse, here's your food, buy. That's the big goal of having it ready quick, is not slowing down the golf course, because we want to keep everything moving. And I got to talk Steve into opening his drive-through window at Tex because he has one.
I was at Sim. I don't know. Like, was they had an event there. Apparently it was a memorial for a guy who used to play golf there. And it was completely full of people in the clubhouse, but they didn't have any extra staffing. Is that,
So that was the lady who put that on. She actually works for Public Works for the city. And her dad, you've played there forever and ever. And I believe the 8th tee box, one of the benches is a memorial to him that they bought. But she just wanted a place to meet. She didn't want anything. She didn't want any food. She just said, can we meet there? He, spent 40 years at this golf course and we just let him use the facility. So they didn't really want anything. The week before that, we did the WAGA group and they had about 50 golfers. It was the second day of their tournament. I actually did a pasta buffet for them at Sim. They do have an oven back there that Scott donated from his old house in Topeka, I believe. And I was able to pull that off, but that event was just, they wanted a place to meet and it was supposed to be a come and go. It was on the 16th. Yeah, it was on the 16th.
but the question was, I know it might have been impromptu or just a drop-in thing, but there were so many people you couldn't get waited on by the staff because they didn't have enough people there to take care of the people. Now, is that something that they didn't know was coming, so they didn't have a chance to get big staff onto that, or what was the problem?
She had said there would be no more than 20 people at one time because it was like a 4-hour period, but Kent did know about it.
Also lost 2 people. I'm not trying to make excuses, but Kent did lose 2 people unexpectedly, about 10 days ago. So
So right before that.
probably factored in. Yeah, that's why I was asking.
So,
We are coordinating all this stuff, but
yeah, absolutely. I work with all the head pros. I have events, and if it's an event with food, I'm there, period.
to adjourn.
We'll throw it.
Hallelujah. Everybody. Bye.
Yeah.
Hi.
Stuff set up. No.